Welcome back to the Art of Living Well podcast. And today we're talking about something that I feel like everyone struggles with at various times, and it's how to stay healthy while you're traveling without turning into like a rigid person or the food police or feeling like you've totally fallen off track. Because travel is supposed to be fun and exciting, and we want to try the foods in the places we're at, and we want to explore and expand. But it can also throw everything off balance, your workouts, your sleep, your digestion, your hormones. So, and when we're in midlife, these disruptions can really hit harder. So, anyway, today we're sharing some simple anchors and tips for you so you can stay steady and energized while you're traveling. And we still don't want you to be super rigid or miss any of the fun while you're on vacation. Welcome to the Art of Living Well podcast, where we empower you to take charge of your health and happiness. We're Marnie
and Stephanie,
board-certified integrative health practitioners, holistic wellness coaches, and passionate explorers of all things mind, body, and soul.
Each week, we bring you expert insights, real-life stories, and practical tools to help you bridge the gap between where you are now and where you truly want to be. From longevity and nutrition to mindset, movement, and healing, we dive deep to uncover the root causes of wellness and vitality.
Join us and our growing community as we explore what it really means to create your art of living well in a way that's authentic, sustainable, and uniquely yours.
Absolutely. And, I think this topic is one that I've been talking with clients with since I started becoming a health coach. I mean, it is so prevalent regardless of your age, but I think it's hitting more in midlife just because your body's going through all these changes. And so any little tweak to your normal schedule throws you off. And, when we say travel, that also means just going to visit family. And I find that this can be even more challenging for people when they're back in their house with their parents and they're sharing spaces with people and they don't want to wake up early and wake someone up so they can go work out. This just spans the gamut too. So
Stephanie, I was just going to say, it's funny you mentioned family because I literally just got home very late last night from visiting my parents and they had no food in their house. Literally no food. Yeah.
What?
Their fridge is very barren and it was quite amusing. I ended up at the grocery store 2 times in the span of 3 days. But anyway, we can just...
But you went to the grocery store.
I did,
so
but I was instructed not to buy a lot. And then I was asked if I wanted to bring some of it home with me, which I did not, flying home.
Wow. Well, maybe that's a topic for another day, a whole nother topic for another day, actually. I don't know that that's what we want to talk about today, but that's okay. Well, good to know. Yes. Travel can be fun. It can be stressful. Maybe you're traveling for work, and we want to cover the topic of work-specific travel in the context of this episode. This is not just about going on a fun vacation at the beach, right? So this is going to visit family, which may not seem like a vacation necessarily. It may be sharing spaces with other people while you're traveling, or in a hotel. Like there's so many different variables that will impact what we're talking about today. But ultimately, and I think we've talked about this a little bit before, what are your non-negotiables? And when we talk about non-negotiables, we mean wherever you're at. So it could be my non-negotiable is getting 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, and it's staying hydrated and drinking electrolytes. Like you can do those things regardless of where you are. You just have to be prepared and have like a system in place. And these are all things that we've talked about on the episode. We're just going to kind of bring it together today because we know, one, the physical act of traveling can be exhausting, and then you're eating differently and drinking differently and sleeping differently, and all those things can, kind of wreak havoc. And then you come back, and who wants to feel like they need another vacation when they get back from vacation, right?
Absolutely. And I think there are a few simple things, regardless of what your non-negotiables are, that everyone can do to just make traveling maybe a little smoother. So for instance, protein, right? If we eat enough protein at every meal, that is going to really help us feel fuller, prevent those energy crashes, reduce some cravings. I find sometimes when I travel that it's hard for me to get in my protein, especially if I'm on the go a lot. So I have to be super thoughtful about that. And when I am not thoughtful about it or I don't get the protein I want, I notice that I am reaching for more snacky kinds of foods. Like I'm a perfect example of not getting enough protein. Even at home, I have to be so thoughtful about getting my protein in. So when I'm traveling, it's even more difficult.
Yep. So what are some ways that someone can do that? Like practical products or foods, or how
Well,
do you
I've
do
been
that?
traveling with my protein powder, my DNS, and my Kion powder. And I think that's super helpful, so that I know I'm going to get a smoothie right off the bat. If I'm staying at a hotel, typically if there's a restaurant, they will make your smoothie for you if you go and ask them. If you're in an Airbnb, you can get the ingredients for yourself. If you're staying in someone's house, same thing. But it just takes a little more forethought, right? And I think that I'm just used to traveling with my protein now at this point.
I mean, honestly, I think I've been doing this for like probably 8 years. And I just travel with a shaker bottle everywhere I go. And now my husband, and I know he won't be listening to this, but he started traveling with a shaker bottle ever since he's done the detox several times. But this last January, he traveled
That's
with it, Marnie. I'm
amazing.
not kidding you. He has his DNS. I had to buy more packets of the DNS. So for everyone out there, Marnie and I, when we do our Vitality Reboot, we do it through a liver detox program, and it's daily nutritional support. So not only are you getting 15 grams of plant-based protein, but you're also getting all your vitamins and minerals and then some. So it's even more, it's great every day, but also when traveling to make sure you're getting those nutrients that may be lacking in the foods that you're eating. And then we also travel with Kion. I just bring them in little Ziploc bags and I label them and I have the scoop and I add it. So if nothing else, I can get my protein powder with some ice, ideally almond milk. But if I can't get that this weekend, I just had water and I shook it up and I got 25 grams of protein with just that shake. And then, at least I know I'm getting that, right off the bat. And it just starts your day. So if you don't even take any other supplements, you're still getting everything in this one
And it's a
shake.
great start to your day.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. And
Yes.
it's going to set you up for success. So you're not maybe grabbing that bar or croissant, or, if you're in Paris, go have the croissant, right? But like, have a smoothie too. Have your protein. It'll help stabilize your blood sugar better. Another thing I do is I always pack nuts with me in baggies. And if I'm feeling desperate for something and I can't get something, I have my nuts. And I usually have an apple too.
Yep. I mean, I pack bars. I have some of my favorite clean bars that are really clean, 15, 20 grams of protein, little packets of pumpkin seeds you can buy individually. I mean, these things don't take up a lot of room. The other thing I always travel with, even on airplanes, is I buy little packets of hummus and I will bring veggies. I will cut up a ton of veggies in Ziploc bags and I bring like a small little freezer ice pack just to keep it a little chilled. And then I throw it in the fridge when I get somewhere. Fruit cuties are so easy to bring with you on a flight and eat. So I'm that lady that has like a stash of food that I travel with in my carry-on on an airplane.
So again, I just returned last night and I ended up getting majorly delayed because we had a snowstorm here in Minnesota. And I had grabbed at my parents' house, I had an apple, a bunch of carrots. What else? I had 2 little pieces of chocolate that I took from their house. I had some cashews. I'm trying to think what else I put in that bag. I think I also had like a couple pretzels in there. So it was kind of like a random mix. I knew I wasn't going to have dinner because the timing was weird. And then I ended up getting stuck on the plane for like an extra 2 hours on top of the normal flight. So I'm like pulling out my snacks and my food. Thank goodness I had them. And I like ate my apple and my carrots. And the guy next to me is like, wow, you're prepared. I'm like, yes, I am. He's like, I wish I brought that stuff with me. But the point is, you just have to think about it ahead and plan a little bit. And it can go a long way.
Long way. Maybe we were like Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts in a former life because we're very, very resourceful. So yes, packing snacks is key and being prepared and even doing a little bit of like research before you go. Or if you're at an Airbnb, where's the closest grocery store and picking up food to have with you. So my daughter and I were out of town this past weekend doing a college visit and we went and there was a nice fridge in the room in the hotel. And we went to Trader Joe's and we both got stuff for breakfast and some fruit, berries. I mean, we were set. So we didn't have to go out for breakfast. We knew we were going to have like quick early mornings. And she bought some bars that she likes. And so you can find stuff near your destination.
That's my favorite when we have like an Airbnb or somewhere with a kitchen where you can eat your breakfast in or whatever, because it's really hard to eat 3 meals out when you're traveling. Really, really hard. I find it hard at least.
Yes, agree. But like Marnie said earlier, we don't want you to be the food police. When you're somewhere new and different, of course you want to explore the food, and you're going to eat things that are different than what you normally ate. And you may eat a little bit more. Like this weekend, we ran into this pop-up bagel place, which apparently is like all the rage in like some big cities. And my daughter found it. And of course we had to go and I never eat bagels.
And was it
But I
good?
ate the bagel with the cream cheese. It was good. I mean, I don't know if it was really quite worth the hype, but it was fun. We were outside walking around and whatever. So it's not like we're only eating the food that we bring. Just throw that out there. We are
For
enjoying
sure.
ourselves.
And another
Yeah.
easy way to travel and feel well is by moving your body and walking. And that is literally my favorite way to explore anywhere I visit is by foot. And,
100%.
getting in your 10,000 steps if you can every day or walking for even an hour, just moving your body is great. And you get to explore wherever you are. Waking up in the morning, I think, is one of the best times to do it, but really any time is fine.
And, sometimes you're like off schedule. You're somewhere where people are sleeping in your hotel room, right? And you're like, oh, I don't want to wake up the rest of my family. Well, just put your clothes out by the bathroom. Like I literally just did this weekend. So everything is there. You're not like rummaging through your suitcase while the lights are dark and other people in your family are sleeping. And I quick got up and both days I went into the gym and did a quick workout before. And I even ended up doing weights, which I don't even normally do in a hotel gym anymore. But like it was perfect. And then I knew I got my movement in through the day. My daughter was still sleeping. It was all good. And you're not disrupting other people's schedules or the plan that you have for your family on your vacation or whatever.
This episode is brought to you by Good Health Saunas, your key to relaxation, rejuvenation, and better health. If you want to feel better in your body every single day, infrared sauna therapy is a powerful tool. It supports detoxification, immune health, muscle recovery, better sleep, and even healthier looking skin. And honestly, it just feels incredible. I absolutely love my Good Health Sauna and use it regularly. My husband does as well. It's become a part of our weekly routine, especially after our workouts or long days when we just need to rest and unwind. Good Health Saunas offers a commercial-grade infrared saunas with a lifetime warranty and exceptional customer service. Their team walks you through everything from selection to installation, making the process simple and seamless. You can visit their stores at the Mall of America in Minnesota or in Appleton and Waukesha, Wisconsin. Head to goodhealthsaunas.com and mention the Art of Living Well podcast for your exclusive discount. So I often do not do weights when I'm traveling because I don't bring weights with me, but I'll do push-ups and lunges. Like you can do those anywhere and it's really easy to just throw those in. But again, I was visiting my parents and my parents are actually very active. And my dad is in this class that he goes to 3 times a week and he really wanted me to go. And I was like, okay, I'll go to your class with you, whatever. It was so cute. It was all these older people and there was a woman leading the class and she played like 60s, 70s, 80s music and it was weights and cardio. It was like a mix of weights and cardio for the hour. And she modified everything. So like I got a really good workout. I was not expecting it to be. And my arms are actually still sore 2 days later. But it was really fun to do that on vacation with my dad. And at the end, the teacher had everybody put their hands in the middle and say like, good morning or whatever. I mean, it was so funny and cute. There was a woman next to me in the class. She was probably 85. She didn't do anything with weights, but she went through all of the movements with no weights. And I was like, this is so impressive. But again, could I have just like slept in and not done this? I could have, but I decided, I mean, that's not typically my personality, but a person on vacation could have just slept in and relaxed and whatever and not done it. But the point is to try and experience where you're at, take advantage of the opportunities, whether it's walking, doing something in your room, going to the hotel gym, whatever it is, just move your body.
Yes. And to your point, I do think the best way to experience a new city, and it could even not like, it doesn't have to be like a big city, just any area, it's just to walk. And so as much of that you can infuse throughout your day or planning activities with your kids that are a little bit more active and just being outside doesn't mean that you're getting your heart rate up crazy. You're just moving your body. You're getting the blood flow. You're not sitting. And that's really the goal. And, the other thing too, is I know a lot of people struggle with is being on other schedules. Like, oh, I'm with a group of friends and I don't want to veer off from the group. I don't want to be that person. Well, why not? Why not be that person who inspires others to go out for a walk? So if you're with your girlfriends or you're out of town with family, it doesn't mean you're excluding them. You're asking them to join you. So how can you say, hey, I'd love to go on a walk. Who wants to go? Or maybe infuse it with going to get coffee or infusing it with lunch or let's walk along the beach after lunch. Most people are going to be up for that, to be honest, but they may just need a little prodding, or maybe they didn't think of it or they were having the same worries that you were. So be a leader, be someone who inspires others to continue those healthy habits that you have back home.
And if your group doesn't want to join you, that's okay too. Just go take a 20-minute spin or whatever, spin meaning a walk. Just go get out and sneak it in when you can. And that's okay.
Exactly. And again, this goes back to what are your non-negotiables and how do you want to spend your time? Because I think you could spend 20, 30 minutes scrolling on your phone in the morning in bed, at home or on vacation. But how do you want to feel? How is this benefiting you? Which one will you appreciate and feel more energized after?
So, another thing that people I think really struggle with on vacation is sleep. And I actually learned from Stephanie 2 of my best sleep hacks on vacation, which when I first met you, I'm not going to lie, I thought you were a little, I don't know what it is, but with the mouth tape and the eye mask and the
Oh,
earplugs,
I
it's
know.
like you are shutting out the world. The first time we traveled together, you were already doing all of that. And like I did use earplugs and an eye mask sometimes, but now when I travel, anytime I travel, I use the mouth tape, the eye mask, and the earplugs. And it really does help shut out the world. I just sleep hard with that
Yep.
stuff.
And the other thing I would add to it, because I have a little bag that just is always ready to go with everything in it. So this is the other thing, having little pouches and bags that are all ready. And I'm talking about from the food to the supplements to the toiletries to the all this stuff we're talking about. Then you don't have to think about it. It's just on autopilot is melatonin and the bee propolis spray because it's great for immunity. And if you get a little scratchy throat,
Me
those are
too.
always in my like travel bags. But the melatonin helps, especially when you're traveling in different time
And I
zones.
really like the Equalife
So I will take that
melatonin,
very often.
specifically the liquid, because there are
Yes, it's
some you can
liquid.
buy in pharmacies that are like in the pill form, and I do not like those at all.
Yeah. Well, you can adjust how much you take too, but I take it most nights and I definitely take it when I travel.
Me too. And I love having my sleep pouch just ready to go. And it just reminds me when you're talking about little pouches, I do think that's a tip that is super important. I had my cinnamon with me on this. I have a little thing of cinnamon that I travel with. And my mom is like, we have cinnamon.
I do too.
I'm like, I'm sure you do, but I just have my stuff. It's already packed. I'm not repacking it every time I go. So I have my cinnamon with me. It's
Right.
nothing against you and your cinnamon.
Exactly. Well, and you know what's funny? I just will add, and this is me being a little maybe over the top, but it's important if you're going to be traveling with those shaker bottles, is I have a small thing of refillable liquid soap detergent. So I can rinse out the shaker bottle.
That is something I forget often, and you always have it. And I need to get that. That's a good reminder.
Yeah. I think I got it like at Target or at the Container Store, and then you just refill it and then you put your own detergent in it.
No, that's a great hack. So anyway, going back to sleep, you want to try and keep your body on those circadian rhythms as much as you can, which I know is hard to do when you're traveling. But getting up early in the morning, getting that natural sunlight on your face, as it gets dark outside, starting to try and wind down if you can. If you are drinking alcohol and eating a heavy meal, try and give yourself at least 3 hours before you go to bed to let it go through your system.
Yeah, and that's probably hard to do. I mean, 3 hours is sort of the gold standard, but that's on a normal day. But even if you can make it 2 hours on vacation, and there will be times, especially if you're traveling in Europe, where you're just eating later. And then it's like, how can you take a little walk maybe after you eat to help you digest that food a little bit? And then you're maybe getting some evening sun as well.
And you could bring your Z-Biotics if you are going to be drinking. Like I have that in my travel pouch. I have a couple Z-Biotics. So if I am going to have a drink, I have it ready to go.
And we will link all this up in the show notes, because the other thing that I take, well, I take it most nights, but I do think it helps with drinking in addition to the Z-Biotics, is the recovery bits from Energy Bits, and taking those at night before bed help with detox.
And magnesium, the supplement magnesium can help you wind down, go into a deeper sleep, keep the body's digestion flowing, especially for some people I know struggle with constipation while they're traveling. And I think magnesium can help with that quite a bit.
Yep. And that also, we talked about protein a little bit, but one thing that's probably really hard on vacation sometimes is fiber. Because unless you're getting like a ton of salads and fresh foods, even ordering like a side of vegetables at dinner, one little side of vegetables is not going to give you enough fiber. And that's where eating fruit, eating the nuts and seeds will really help. And Marnie, the one thing we didn't mention that we did when we were hiking the Grand Canyon is we brought all the ingredients to make overnight oats.
That's a little more in depth than maybe the average traveler would do. But that was amazing.
But yeah. And that's good if you're road traveling. That may be a little bit more doable. But we literally packed all the ingredients for this protein overnight oats recipe and brought a little small stainless steel container and whipped them up the night before, put them in the fridge, and we ate them for breakfast before we went. So any hikers out there, anyone's being really active,
and I don't even think you need to be a hiker. Like I think for road tripping, it's great. When I go to Madison now to visit my daughter, I make those for her and myself and my husband. And I bring like basically enough for each of us to have 2. And she's like, oh, are you going to make those those little bowls of, she didn't call it
Yeah.
oats. I can't remember what she called it, but it's kind of, I put it all in a cooler and it's great. Put it right into the hotel fridge. And then in the morning, we don't have to race out to try and find somewhere to eat, which is even better because it's usually pretty
Right.
busy when we're going to visit.
Well, and the overnight oats are great
Mhm.
for at home too. So maybe you start making them at home and then you decide, oh, yeah, they're something that I want to
Yep.
make on the road. And from a cost saving standpoint, you're bringing your own food, you're not spending as much money,
Right.
and you're eating better.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, we talked about the drinking and the alcohol a bit and just managing that to the extent that you can, because that to prevent those like 3 a.m. wake ups, a lot of times that's what triggers them. And then, when you're at a hotel, you're in a strange place at 3 a.m., sometimes it's harder to fall back to sleep. So do your best when it comes to sleep, but prioritizing it and having some of these resources with you when you travel will help.
And
quite a
we're
bit.
trying to avoid like an inflammation spiral, right? Because if you're having a lot of alcohol and a heavy meal and then you're up late and then you're not sleeping well and then you're waking up early, that's when we start to spiral, right? So that's what we're trying to avoid.
Right.
And we are not trying to tell you in any way, shape, or form not to enjoy yourself. But maybe be thoughtful about it so that every time you go on vacation, you're not spiraling into like this cycle. I'm working with this one client that she has this happen every time she travels. And I think this is so common for so many people. And she's like, I just need a few tips to help me so that this doesn't continue to happen. And so this is what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to just, if you can glean anything from this episode, just take one or two of these tips and try and implement them while you're traveling and see what happens.
And I think the other thing we didn't touch on is hydration and how important that is, especially when you're air traveling. So when you're flying on a plane. But depending on the times of your flight, I know people are like, oh, I don't want to go to the bathroom on the plane. But okay, if that happens, that happens. But maybe you can plan it so you don't have to do that. But drinking as much before as you can. And then always, I carry those Redmond electrolyte packets. And I would say I notice I need it even more when I travel. And so keeping a water bottle, always bring a water bottle with you on your trip. I mean, one, from an environmental standpoint, we don't need any more plastic water bottles floating around in our landfills. Like, let's just be clear on that. And then two, if you carry it with you, you're probably going to be somewhere with a refilling station, regardless of where you are, and you can refill it and keep drinking your water. And I think the electrolytes also add a little bit of flavor to it. So if you're someone that doesn't love the flavor of water, that could just help you enjoy the taste.
So I ran into a problem yesterday. I have my water bottle. I have my electrolytes. I was racing to get to my boarding for various reasons. The airports were crazy because so many flights were canceled yesterday. And I had to dump my water in security. And then I was racing to get on the plane, didn't get to fill it up. Got stuck on the plane for a long time.
Oh, no.
Didn't have the water. I was in a seat where you had to put your bag up and we couldn't get up. And my electrolytes were up in my bag. And finally, when they came around with water, they give you a small, tiny little cup. I'm like, can I please? I like chugged it. I'm like, can I please get a refill before you move on?
Yes.
And I'm just like, but you get in situations, right? Like a person that's prepared and I still couldn't get my water in. And I remember I came home and I was so thirsty last night. I just felt very dehydrated.
Yes. And, speaking of like air travel and delays and sitting, this kind of goes back to movement. The one thing that I've done quite a bit, if I have a long layover, like you're already sitting on a plane, you're already sitting in cars to and from wherever you're going. I will walk around the airport and just get another 2,000-3,000 steps. I mean, I have taken long delays and like to the point that I'm like almost sweating by the time I'm finished walking. Like that's how much I'm walking. And I've done it. I've carried my suitcase if I've had to, but I'm like, I have a 3-hour layover. I can't sit anymore. I mean, that's just not in me. And I walk around. I mean, I think airports need to actually have some sort of space that allows you to even just stretch and move and do those push-ups and lunges that Marnie mentioned. But until that time, take laps around the airport. Are you loving this conversation and want even more ways to live your happiest, healthiest, and most authentic life? Then we'd love for you to join our growing community on Substack. When you subscribe, you'll get bonus content and behind-the-scenes insights from us. Plus, you'll be the first to know about our upcoming programs and events. Your support helps us keep bringing inspiring guests and impactful conversations straight to you each week. So head to the link in our show notes, sign up today, and let's continue this journey together to create the art of living well.
So I want to know what you do, Stephanie, when you're stuck in your seat for 2 hours and you can't even stand up. I was like tapping my feet, not even for movement. I mean, I guess just to get some movement, but not for like exercise per se. But I start to go bonkers when I'm stuck.
Yes. I do too. And it happens to all of us.
That's when you start your breathing, right? That's when you start the deep breaths
Exactly.
and think about the perspective. You got to go on the trip and all of that, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And tomorrow's another day and reset. And maybe it's just in that moment, if you're starting to feel a little antsy, like Marnie said, okay, think about the next day. How can you plan? Like get yourself organized in your thoughts so that you're in a calm state and know, like, okay, I'm going to get home and I'm going to get back on track. But I think ultimately the goal and why we want to do this episode is because we see so many people that feel like they need a reset when they get back from vacation. And we don't want you to feel that way every time. But if you do, we have a great program for you to help you reset. And we have our Vitality Reboot, which we run 3 to 4 times a year. Our next one's coming up in May. It'll kick off May 3rd, but we have a do-it-yourself kind of program, DIY, if you will, that still has support from Marnie and I, just not the community, where you can do this program anytime. And it's 7 days, and it's a liver detox, and it's a great reset to get your body back into enjoying nourishing foods and just prioritizing your health and well-being for 1 week. And that can be done before or after.
And there's pros and cons to doing it. Well, not really any cons, actually. There's pros to doing it either before travel or after travel, right? So highly recommend that. And one thing I wanted to ask you, Stephanie, before we talk a little more about the detox / vitality reboot is what supplements do you like to travel with when you travel, if any?
So I have my box, and it's the normal box I use even at home. But we should link this up because it's actually my favorite pill box, and I've had several. But it's divided up, and then you put this label kind of on the inside cover, and then you know exactly what to take, how many, when to take it. So I just bring that. But reality is I may not take all of them twice a day. So I do the DNS, which gives me my baseline. And then I will usually take like a vitamin C or a zinc, especially in the winter. I want some extra immunity. I have 2 different calcium supplements that I take through Algae Kale. So those are also kind of my non-negotiables. And I will take energy bits. I have been taking the Cell Boost from Equalife as well. So if I think about it, I'll take those. And then I definitely take the melatonin and usually magnesium. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just bring with me all the supplements that I take on a normal day and kind of listen to my body and feel like what I need in that moment.
So I have the same, I believe it's the same travel box as you do. And I don't use it at home, interestingly. I only use that box for travel. And I just keep all my stuff loaded in it. And then like you, I listen to my body on how I'm feeling. I don't take all of my supplements every day when I'm traveling because I do take quite a few supplements, but I take the bare minimum for sure. And which for me is like the magnesium and the energy bits and recovery bits. And I do a probiotic and I do a vitamin C. I mean, it sounds like a lot already.
Yeah. And vitamin B, actually. I've been consistently taking vitamin B because as you know, anyone who listened or watched the episode with Dr. Stephen Cabral, Marnie and I both need vitamin B.
Yes. I just got mine because I didn't have any. So I'm starting that up. I did not bring it on vacation because I have to take it at lunch, which is like, I have to be a little more thoughtful about that because he said not to take it at breakfast. But if you guys are wondering about your supplements too, we can help you with that because I know supplements can be super overwhelming. Yes. So reach out if you have questions about that. And like Stephanie said, our Spring Vitality Reboot is right around the corner. It's on May 3rd. It's 7 days. Great to do after travel. If you want to do it on your own schedule, we will support you. You can do that anytime. And the link is in our show notes. Just remember, the goal of all of this is not restriction. It's more about being mindful, being thoughtful, planning, and just trying to use our bodies, like work with our bodies is what I was trying to say, not use our bodies.
We want to support our bodies to be able to do all the things that it wants to do and that it's intended to do on its own. So we're just and we want you to create an environment that your body can flourish. And it will, no matter how you feel right now. And so what's one thing that we talked about today that you want to take away and incorporate into your life, especially when you travel, focusing on that travel piece? Is it just pick one thing for your next trip, especially if you're someone who does have some travel coming up. And we thought, well, this episode will drop in the spring. And we know some people go away on spring break or travel, and just focus on one thing. What's one area that we talked about? Maybe it's hydration or movement or planning your food in advance a bit that will really move the needle and help you feel better so that when you come back, you're not exhausted and stressed and overwhelmed.
And maybe one day you're taking a long walk and being thoughtful about your protein. And the next day you're eating some pasta and having a delicious glass of wine. And that's okay.
Yeah. So drop us a note. Let us know what resonated with you, what areas that you want to work on so that we can support and encourage you. And of course, we would love for you to join our Spring Vitality Reboot and be part of the amazing community. And the sign up is already live. So we'll have that in the show notes as well. And message us with any questions.
And we want you to join our Substack. We have a little giveaway for you, a freebie, and it's the Midlife Travel Resilience Checklist. And it's just a quick little list of some of the things we talked about and little reminders for you. So go head on over to our Substack. The link again is in the show notes. And we get into a lot more depth on our lives on our Substack. So it's really fun.
All right.
Have a great
Happy
day.
travel, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to the Art of Living Well podcast. If today's episode inspired you, please subscribe, share, and leave us a review. It helps more people discover our show.
And if you're ready to take your health and happiness to the next level, we would love to support you. Whether it's through our transformative group programs, personalized coaching, or functional medicine lab testing, we help uncover the root causes of your health challenges and unlock your vitality.
Visit www.theartoflivingwell.us to learn more and book a free discovery call. Until next time, keep creating your art of living well.